Today I'm sharing 10 rules that have changed my life for the better. Hey, if you're new to my channel, I'm Cass from Clutterbug, and I went from a total hot mess to like a lukewarm mess. So today I want to talk about the 10 rules that have helped me achieve financial freedom, success, more happiness, just all the good stuff that we want as an adult. And I thought of this video because I watched The Minimal Mom last week, and she did a video called 10 Rules That Changed Her Life. And it got me thinking. First, it was an amazing video, and I'm going to put a link down below so you can check that out. But I realized I also have rules, and I've made a lot of mistakes throughout my life, and these rules have helped me change my ways, set things right, and really lead a life that I can be proud of. Are you ready for my pearls of wisdom? I am in my mid-40s, and these 10 rules have definitely changed my life. I made a lot of mistakes. My teenagers don't want to learn from those mistakes and hear these rules, so I'm bestowing them on you. And the first rule that I live by is say yes to scary things. And what I mean by this is go out of your comfort zone a little bit. I have social anxiety, and I'm definitely a person that doesn't want to ever go out of my comfort zone. So I used to say no to things all the time. Not when I was a teenager. I said yes too much, but you're getting my idea here. I used to say, like, if the neighbor said, "Hey, why don't you come over for a cup of coffee tomorrow?" I'd be like, "I don't really know you. You're a stranger. No thanks. I'm busy." And I'd make up some excuse. Or friends inviting us to go out and have like a costume party at Halloween. Those type of things I used to always say no to. So I could stay home and I could stay safe, and it kept me small. So now I say yes to scary things. Somebody wants to invite me out for coffee, I go. And I always am glad that I did. I pushed myself out of the comfort zone, whether somebody asks me to write a book or do a TED Talk, even though I'm terrified of public speaking. I say yes. Go out of your comfort zone. If you are asked to do something that terrifies you, as long as it's a positive thing, always say yes. My number 2 rule is you're never going to feel like it. Do it right now. I am a procrastinator. I procrastinate like it's my life mission. If I don't want to do something, I'm going to put it off till tomorrow. Like somehow I'm going to feel like it then. This is my rule. I no longer do this. I no longer tell myself I'm going to wait till I actually feel like I want to do it, because that will never happen. And I don't put things off till tomorrow, because that's just creating more work for tomorrow, Cass. I get started now. That doesn't mean I do the whole thing, but anytime I'm like, ooh, I really don't want to, and I start making excuses of why it's okay to do it later, I force myself to do 5 minutes right now. Force myself. I don't always follow through, but I try, because this is a rule of life that has changed my life. I'm more productive. I feel more motivated, because motivation isn't something that just comes to me. It's something I have to create. So this is a rule that I totally recommend for you too. Rule number 3, I feel like this is the rule that honestly had the biggest impact on my life. And it isn't my rule, I stole it. It is pay yourself first. I am bad with money. I am impulsive. I overshop. I have a really hard time saying no to myself. So paying yourself first has completely changed my finances. I started doing this when I met Joe, because he made me. Before I met Joe, I have claimed bankruptcy in my early 20s. I had like 50 bazillion credit cards. I was like, I got paid today. I'm gonna be broke tomorrow, but today's gonna be awesome. That has just always been the type of person I am. But I started reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad and The Wealthy Barber, and all of these things, which really changed my mindset to the day I get paid, I pay myself first, 10%. If you're really on a tight budget, 5%. It's not negotiable. That is a bill that you pay yourself every time you get paid, and it goes into a savings account that you cannot touch. This changed my life. I went from being broke to, after a year of having enough savings that I felt safe, to having 5 years enough savings that I felt really safe, till I could start investing, and then investments started making money, and then my money was making me money, and then everything started changing, because the more I saved, the more I thought, would I rather have this thing or the money. And we think about that every time we live our life. We live below our means. Our house is paid off. It's small. We want a new one, but we drive used vehicles. We don't splurge on a lot of things. We live a great life. We don't go without, but we'd rather have the money, and we always pay ourselves first. And that took me from someone who was in bankruptcy, broke, eating KD and living paycheck to paycheck, to someone who now has full financial freedom. It is a rule that you need to have in your life too. Rule number 4 is to work smarter, not harder, and to do this on the things that don't really matter. So I am all about shortcuts because listen, that perfectionist mentality of having to do things the right way, which usually is the long way, there just isn't enough time in the day. So we're left with unfinished tasks and projects and always things on our to-do list. And so working smarter, not harder means getting a robot vacuum to clean your house so you don't have to vacuum. Or, you spill on the floor, you don't have to mop the whole kitchen, just quickly spray mop that spill. I use a lot of cleaning shortcuts, so that's kind of what I'm talking about here, but anytime that you can take a shortcut and get the same results, why not do that? We don't get bonus points in life for doing things the hard way. If you can take a shortcut and get the same results, do it. I'm not talking about avoiding things. We still have to show up for work and do our work, but we don't always have to go perfect. We don't always have to go above and beyond on the things that don't really matter. Save time, save effort, and create more space in your day for the things that really matter by taking shortcuts. Rule number 5 is definitely a hard one for me, and it's a new one for me too, and that is say no to toxic people in your life, even if those people are family. This is really hard for me and new because I don't know, I don't want to say names or anything, but I was working with a therapist a couple of years ago, and she made me realize how much effort I was putting into maintaining relationships with people who were not putting in the same effort for me. And a lot of my mind and emotions and well being was tied up in people who did very little for me. And so she gave me a suggestion that I go 30 days without contacting these people and see who reached out to me. 30 days. I'm not reaching out to them. Let's see who reaches out to me. And these are only the people in my life who I felt like every time I talked to them, I was upset or I was feeling really bad about myself. People who weren't giving me any positivity or love, just their own problems, or if that makes sense. So I did this experiment and none of those people reached out to me. And then I went 60 days and 90 days. And a lot of these people were family, blood related, people I had known for my whole life, feeling like I had to keep maintaining those relationships out of something, but realizing how free I felt and how much happier I was when I just didn't. I still talk to some of these people and we're nice and we're cordial, but I no longer give them emotional room and space up here, right? I put myself first and I put boundaries on myself, even for family. Rule number 6 is probably my favorite, and that is every second is a fresh start. Every second. I used to be a person who, if I was starting a diet and I messed up on a Thursday, I'd be like, well, I'll try again on Monday and just eat junk food till then. Or, I would say, I'm going to start this new habit of making my bed every day. And then it would be 2 o'clock and I'd look and oh, I forgot to make my bed. Well, I'll start again tomorrow. Why do we do this? Every second is a fresh start. If we say oh, I messed up, we get right back on the horse and we try again, because the truth is we're gonna mess up. It doesn't have to be perfect. This isn't some video game where you get caught. It's like, wah, 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 start back at the beginning. We don't have to start back at the beginning. Every second, we just get to start again from exactly where we are. And this rule, this mindset, it's just been so helpful. It's helping me achieve goals and accomplish things and just feel better about myself because I remind myself that every second is a fresh start. Rule number 7 is don't waste energy on things you can't control. I'm a really passionate person and I often get upset about things and just it takes over my brain. It's all I think about. I'm like ranting about it. I'm like upset. And I've learned that that does nothing but ruin my day. And so if I can't control something, like if I read something in the news or there's politics or anything that's going on. I used to be real upset about male circumcision. The point is, I now realize if I can't do something, it's not worth the mind effort. A really good example of this is last week I went to visit my stepfather in the hospital and he was cold and the person in the room beside him was like, I'm so cold, and neither of them had blankets on their bed. So when I asked the nurse if they could have blankets, she told me that unfortunately the hospital had a shortage of blankets. They didn't have any. There was none in the hospital that they could use. And I was so mad. I started raging and ranting, and I'm not going to yell at her. That can't solve anything. And I thought, do I put things online? Who do I scream at about this? And instead of visiting with my stepfather, I was getting really worked up about something that I have no control over until I remembered this rule. And I just grabbed some pads, I warmed them in the blanket, the ones that go under them, I layered them on top of them, and they were fine. And it worked out and it was great. That's something I could control. Being mad at a situation that I can't control does nothing but make everyone miserable. Rule number 8, no one ever believes, but I believe this, and that is do what you love and the money will follow. And I believe this, and I know I'm so blessed and lucky to be able to make a living organizing, which is something I love doing. But I truly believe that if you are passionate about something and you put in time and effort, the money will follow. I am not suggesting that people quit their jobs to like pursue, I don't know, cat hair braiding or whatever it is that you like. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I mean, I do think you should devote your time to that, your hobby time, your spare time, and not worry about how it's going to make you money. Every time I talk to somebody who's like, I love this, I would love to do this for a living, but I don't think it can make money, so I'm not gonna bother. I'm like, why wouldn't you just do it as a hobby then and see what happens? Because everyone I know who has an amazing side hustle or is living their dream, they weren't worried about the money in the beginning. They were doing it out of love because it lit them up, because they were passionate about it, and they did some other job for money, and they did this for love. And what happened was the money followed. So that is a rule that I think everyone should live by. Rule number 9 is something I'm still working on, and that is don't compare yourself to other people. Comparison is the thief of joy. And with social media, I find this it's like gutting to me. When I go on Instagram and I look at other organizing experts with their gorgeous rainbows, that Instagram, or I go on YouTube and I love Catherine from Do It on a Dime and I love Dawn from The Minimal Mom, but I look at them succeeding and making these incredible videos and I immediately say, they're so much better. Look what they're doing. Why didn't I think of that? Why can't I be that good? And when I compare myself to other people, I always fall up short. I always fall short because I'm looking through a different lens. When I met Dawn and when I met Catherine, the crazy thing was when I said to them, oh my God, I'm so jealous. You guys are incredible. I want to be just like you. I'll never forget what Catherine said. She said, what are you talking about, Cass? You had a television show, you have books, you have courses. I wish I was doing what you're doing. I'm just doing YouTube. And I was like, you're the queen of YouTube. And so the whole time I'm comparing myself to her, she's comparing herself to me right back. And both of us are losing, if this makes sense. So I try not to compare. And if I have to stay off social media, which I do quite often, it makes me feel bad about myself. And I know this. So I try to never compare myself to other people. You ready for the last rule? This is really my dad's rule that I'm now trying to pass down to my teenage daughter. I don't know how it's working, but he used to say this to me, okay? Cass, you swim in a sewer, you're gonna smell like poop. He said the S word, but you're getting the idea. And what he meant was the people you are around influence you whether you want them to or not. Actually, this really, really smart person said, you are a combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And it is so true. We are humans. We can't help to adapt to the people we are around. So I want you to think of the people you spend the most time with. Are they positive? Are they uplifting? Are they bringing you up? Or are they dragging you down? Are they somebody that you want to be like? Someone that you are like, I want to be more like them? Or is it like, what's up with them? Do you know what I'm saying? And when we surround ourselves with people who bring us up, that's the type of people we need in our lives. Trying to get this through to my teenage daughter. She does not listen, but guess what? We don't have to have physical people to have this same effect. We can surround ourselves virtually with people who have positive messages, who are motivating, who are inspiring, who are doing incredible things with their life. I'm always looking to Mel Robbins. I just love her. And when I'm feeling like low or down or just like, ugh, I look to her and I'm like, man, she's amazing. She's inspiring. Look what she's doing with her life. I want to be more like her. And I will never be Mel Robbins, but she makes me want to be better. And you need to surround yourself with people who make you want to be better too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video made you think about your own life and ask yourself, do I have rules? I mean, I'm 43 years old and I didn't even realize I had rules until Dawn from the Minimal Mom said something. And I thought about it and I grabbed a piece of paper and I was like, I do have rules. I have like life moral guiding rules that have changed everything about my life. So let me know in the comments below some of your life rules. I'm curious and maybe you'll inspire others. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, thanks so much for those of you who have stayed to the end. I want to start a movement. I know earlier I said that I don't get worked up about things that I can't change, but I feel like we can change this, okay? I want you to hear me out here. Let's make minivans cool again. Let's do it. Let's make them cool because I went to this, every time I go to a women's event or something and I drive up in my used rusty minivan, I feel a little judged. And I've had friends and family say like, why are you still driving a minivan? And I gave in at one point and I was like, yeah, minivans are so lame. And I bought an SUV. I had to fold the seat to get to the third row. No. Minivans are by far the best vehicle on the market. Hands down. 7-seater, check. Captain seats so you can easily get to the back, check. The doors open automatically with the push of the button, check. All the seats stow and go and fold so the back becomes like a pickup truck if you need to move something. Check, check, double check. It has plugs. It has so many plugs. It has cup holders out of every orifice like a clown car. You could fit so many things in a minivan. It drives like butter. What's not to love about a minivan? I gave in. I tried an SUV. Garbage. Garbage. You're paying an extra $10,000, $20,000 so you can look fancy pants, and then every time you need the back row, you gotta fold it down. Say what? I gotta open my own door? I gotta pay $20,000 more to open my own door. My hands are filled with groceries. No, listen to me. Minivans are where it's at. And I asked Joe, why aren't they cool? And he said, and I quote, that the minivan is the fanny pack of cars. And he said, think of a fanny pack. It's got lots of pouches. It's very handy. It clips along your waist. You don't have to carry it. It's literally really the most functional way to carry your crap. And yet nobody wants a fanny pack because it's lame. And apparently that is also minivans. Hands down the most functional vehicle. Hands down the best. I'll fight you if you say otherwise. And yet, nobody wants a minivan because we think it's not cool. So let's start this movement, man, because they're starting to make less and less minivans. We live in a city where they have a minivan like factory and they're always laying off people because nobody wants a minivan anymore because they're lame. Stop it. If minivans go extinct, I'm gonna cry because no. I'm getting worked up about something I can't change, but maybe we could change this together. Let's all unite and just admit that we love our freaking minivans and we need to bring them back and make them cool. If low-rise jeans, okay, bell bottoms, leg warmers, if all that crap that was never cool can come back and be cool again, we can do the same thing for minivans. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you next time.